Well, hello everybody. This is my personal project. I have selected the topic of model trains because of my time. I've always been into model trains. My grandfather got me a small train set for Christmas, and I was around 3 years old. Uh, so I have a lot of experience in this. So in this project, I'll be creating a DCC train layout. I have a DCC locomotive, but I have never used the DCC controller or operating system. Basically, on a regular system, a DC system, which is just standard analog, regular, whatever you want to call it, it's basically just uh, very simple, just forward, back, and the throttle, of course. But on the DCC system, you can have control of sounds, lights, and other fancy features. All my previous layouts have been DC, so this will be the first one that is DCC. I know what I'm doing with like the all the other stuff besides the DCC. So what I'm learning is about the DCC. My highly challenging goal is that I will effectively use my 10.5 by 4 foot table to create a realistic and modern train layout that uses the Easy Command and Easy System by Bachmann. Uh, I want to do a layout that is digital based on the same table as my old one and the same dimension, same benchwork framework. It's measurable because I'm going to show pictures before and after, as you're seeing right now, actually. Uh, I've done train layouts before. I'm definitely not going in blind to this. I'm going to learn some things. I'm going to try new things, but I have experience doing this. This fixture can be added on to, it's not a permanent thing, of course. And I plan to get this. I've planned to get this done by January of 2018, which I did. My global context is personal and cultural expression. Through this, I'll create a very realistic train layout. I always appreciate the realistic aesthetic of the hobby, and I'm going to try to chase after that side and through creativity, make a very realistic layout. I've located my sources using YouTube, Model Railroader, a magazine, and the internet, and talking to people at my local hobby store. Uh, but the most important, the most helpful source that I gathered was a source from Woodland Scenics. Right now, you're seeing in the video me using the Woodland Scenics. The source proved very highly helpful because it was the exact same thing that I was using. Uh, Another important source was what's the difference between DCC and DC trains? What is the best? This was a blog post on a website, and it basically really did a very good job of explaining the difference between DC and DCC and made me want to go with DCC. The last source was from a guy at the hobby store. I talked to him, and what you're seeing right now is what happened. I'm going to get more into that later, but it's yeah. In the planning stage, I use my prior knowledge to realize what I wanted to do, refining my goal. Uh, the schedule that I used, it wasn't set in stone. I just whenever I had time, I worked on it. Uh, the dates that I worked on it were November 3rd, November 11th, and the 21st. I purchased supplies at Great Lakes Hobby Store on September 19th, November 2nd, and November 21st. I met with my supervisor on October 3rd, November 14th, and February 7th. I would record myself building the layout in 5 to 10 minute segments that I put on my YouTube channel, uh, titled "Building a Model Railroad Episode," whatever. A skill that I have acquired is that I saw to the end. I did something and I took it to the end and I finished it. So I'm pretty proud of that. Uh, if I had to do this next time, I would definitely have a bigger budget and more space. But I don't have. There's a lot of limitations. Uh, I have many videos, as you can see right here, as the evidence for my project. As you can see, we have our DCC system here. We have a locomotive on the track. This we have assigned, each locomotive has a number. We have assigned this to number 1. And we're going to show you how to use the digital system, or the Easy Command System by Bachmann. First, we're going to mute the engine. So we're going to access the functions like lights, sound, and that stuff, we're going to hit the yellow function key. And we're going to hit function 8 for mute. To exit out of the function menu, we can hit function again. To get the locomotive rolling, we have our desired engine locomotive selected. We're going to increase the throttle gradually, and away she goes. To stop the locomotive, we're going to wind back the throttle, and it is stopped. Let's say we desire to reverse the locomotive. Select your desired number of the locomotive, hit the reverse tab on the direction menu, and increase the throttle gradually to reverse the locomotive. And again, decrease the throttle to stop the locomotive. We're going to put it back into the forward setting, and now we're going to do something with the lights. So we're going to hit the function menu and do function 5. That turns on the ditch lights. Now to turn on the main lights, we're going to go to function 10. That turns on the main lights that you see right in the nose right there. Even in the function menu, you can move your locomotive. As you can see, we're moving it. We also have many other functions. We also have a horn, and we also have a horn for that a train would use when coming to crossings like this. So we're going to get the locomotive to where we see it here. So now we're in the function menu. First, to access the horn, we need to unmute the locomotive. So we're going to hit function 8. Now you hear it idle. Now we're going to use the horn. That's going to be number 2. So what you just saw was a quick overview on how to run the DCC system by Bachmann. If I was definitely to do this layout if I was to do another layout, definitely make it bigger, put some switches in there, put some more space. More space would always be nice. An obstacle I overcame was the grass. As you can see here, I'm pouring the Scenic Cement right into the spray bottle. The previous time I did the grass, the guy at the hobby store told me to mix water in with the Scenic Cement, unlike I'm doing here. The thing is, the guy at the hobby store was wrong. I'm not saying he was definitively wrong, but I think I mixed too much water with the cement because the grass did not stick. When I sprayed the water and Scenic Cement mixture, the grass didn't stick. So we had to sweep it all up, and I made the assumption that I should probably just put the Scenic Cement in there. So that I didn't use water the second time. I could have gone, a very easy route I could have gone with was just buying like a sheet of grass. It's like paper with like the grass particles already glued on top of it, so you can just tack it down or caulk it down to the foam. But I wanted to do something different and create some new skills and use the shake-on grass. If I ran out of certain supplies, I'd just go back to Great Lakes Hobby Store and buy some. They're a very good hobby store. I definitely recommend them. They have very decent prices, fair prices. In my global context, I've been very creative in the placement of the streets in my layout. As you'll see in a little bit in the video, with the placement of buildings, you can sort of make your own town and, create something, you can be the architect of a town. You have lots of freedom when doing model railroading, which is an aspect, along with the realism, that I really enjoy. My supervisor, Ms. Patel, has given me a lot of advice on my goal in global context. We tweaked the goal and made it very clear and precise to help me pass the project. Another thing that she helped me realize is not everybody knows what I'm talking about, so not everyone watching this video knows what I'm talking about when I'm just talking about train lingo, because I've been doing this for a long time. Like I've said, I've had incredible amounts of prior knowledge. So I just talk about like this stuff like everybody knows it. But I got to realize that my audience doesn't know about this, and I should explain it better. And she helped me really realize that. Uh, Reflecting back on the project, it's come along very well. A bigger budget, like I said, would have been massively helpful. Uh, like I said, I had a budget of $300. I went over that by $21.06. Uh, you know, a bigger budget and more space would have helped, like I said. But if I had a bigger budget, I would have gone with more spur tracks, maybe purchased another locomotive, maybe some trees. I could have done a lot more. But I think where it's at, it looks very good now, and I'm happy with it. Uh, and evidence of my goal, as you can see, or evidence is the paw print of my cat, as you saw back there. That was a picture of my cat's paw print on the train table. He sits there. The cats really like to sit there because they can just peer out the window. Something new that I learned was putting down grass, the shake-on grass, and the operation of Bachmann's DCC system, which I explained earlier. I've expressed myself culturally. Model railroading isn't just a hobby in the U.S. There's people in Great Britain and all other countries that enjoy the same hobby, just but with different trains, because trains are a lot different over in Europe, or different to an extent in Europe than in the United States. I've watched some videos. It's a very interesting aspect. Different countries. Obviously, like I said before, appreciate the aesthetic of realism. I guess you could say I've used my creativity to express realism. I could have gone with a very toy train layout, which I've done in the past, but I've gone with a realistic, sizable layout. And, what makes it realistic that I really like about it is there aren't that many trains, sort of. And a lot of layouts, they're overpowered with trains to the extent where it just doesn't look that realistic with the amount of trains to the amount of houses or scenery. So that's really something I really like about my layout. My quest for realism brought me to purchase the gray track. As you can see, the black track there doesn't really look good on the green grass. The gray track simulates the gravel and roadbed, and it looks very good. I overcame challenges with the old grass and the glue. I critically thought when I realized that I should have put the foam on the other side, but I didn't. But I realized if I was to go back, I should have made the critical thinking decision of putting the lows side down. So yeah, I kind of laugh at myself with that mistake. I was very open-minded and balanced, I think, when I tried the new operating system and the new style of grass that I have not tried before. I tried the shake-on grass instead of the easy way with the roll-on grass. I think I could have done more critical thinking with the foam. Time management, I feel like I did it well. I just do it like sort of late at night when I felt like it, in like 3-hour sessions. I feel like I could have wrote the paper and done the writing stuff more time. I could have used that more. I could have used the calendar more, I felt like. But like I said, I just did it when I worked on it when I had time. I did reach my goal by saying I would have the layout done by January of 2018. I think I'm a decent learner because I could think more critically and carefully. I acknowledge mistakes that I have made, and I'll try to do better next time. To sum this video all up, I think model railroading is a great hobby for people to get into, and it really can give people a creative side that they've never really felt before. Like, you can create a town, you can create a village, you can create a lake. I had a lake on my previous layout.